Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and of course, welcome back to Highway Hauling. Now, if you remember from the last episode in this particular RP, we kind of made a couple of changes around the shop. Now, what started out as essentially a scrap metal area, or like a kind of a metal yard, is slowly being transformed into kind of a little bit of a base of operations for us. Now, if you remember, we started out with our Dodge right here, our Ram 3500, and then we picked up that Ford F-250 and essentially built it up into what it is now, essentially a bit of a shop truck. Now, between then and now, I actually bought a couple of pull-behind trailers to have at the shop area. I do want to pick up some goosenecks as well, so I have them out here for some of the bigger jobs, but what we actually ended up doing is we ended up getting a request to bring an ATV out to actually a property a little bit further down the road that has an ATV track, and so I decided that not only was I going to bring a custom ATV out there for the guy that owns the track, I was also going to sort of put together a custom ATV for myself, and maybe one that, who knows, you know, maybe the shop gets a call one day that requires an ATV to get to a certain area. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to hop into the Ford, and we're going to go ahead and probably hook up one of the trailers to it, head down to the garage, we're going to pick up both of these ATVs, load them up, and then head out to this property to drop one of them off, and then drive the other one on the ATV racetrack. The sound of this thing will never get old. It seriously, like, the way this truck sounds is absolutely incredible. All right, so let's back this thing up. Now, fortunately, we have an adjustable lift on this truck, and I'm curious as to, okay, we'll definitely want it a little bit higher. There we go. That'll be a little bit better. I mean, I feel like the trailer is going to be a little bit off, but it's almost level. It's, whoa, all right, remember what gear you're in, bud. Yeah, it's almost level. So the cool thing about this particular trailer is that it's a tilt deck and it comes with a winch. So I was really happy to pick this thing up for the fleet, and I think it's going to hold 2 ATVs no problem at all. Let's go ahead and quickly make sure, you know, no traffic is coming around. All right, so now that we got this thing out on the road, I've also gone ahead and done a couple more modifications inside the F-250. Like, for example, we threw a portable radar unit up there, so just in case we need our GPS to span, you know, a little bit more of an area than it would before, we have that ability now. This tint is definitely, like, it's appreciated in the summer, but man, it's some dark tint. It really, really is. All right, so let's go ahead and head on in here. I know that this is kind of the back way to get into the garage, but I'm not too worried about it. All right, so let's ease this thing on in. Try not to completely ruin the grass at the entrance to the garage. All right, so we're gonna put together a couple of ATVs and get them ready to take out to be dropped off. Now, granted, we're only really dropping off one of these ATVs, so let's see. Let's go ahead and activate the tilt deck and stop the engine. Now we're going to go and grab both of those ATVs. Now, we're bringing a side-by-side, and then the one that we're dropping off, the one that's essentially being dropped off for a kind of a customer situation, is a four-wheeler. So this thing is going to get built up real quick. He definitely wanted the tuned engine and the off-road transmission. And let's see. Actually, I think, because he did say he wanted a little bit of like a mix of the two, we'll go with the quote-unquote highway transmission, but let's say active, well, we'll do the 2-inch lifted. Not even anything really crazy. You know, this wasn't a super highly optioned out four-wheeler, so it wasn't the adjustable suspension. So let's throw the, let's see, it's a good all-round tire. Definitely going with that one. All right, so we want the offline extended winch. We got the lockers on there. And the tall snorkel, it definitely needs the cargo racks and the rear bumpers. And I know he got the LED, but I don't think he got the radio. So we'll go from there with that. And then as far as colors-wise, we'll probably leave this one alone in that particular like black trim with the yellow. And now all of a sudden, it is raining out here. I did not think it was going to start raining. All right. Well, you're going to go ahead and go up onto the trailer, or at least we're going to get you ready to put on the trailer. And then we will grab our side-by-side. So let me go ahead and pull this thing up right here and shut it down. Now let's run back in the garage and grab the side-by-side. So I'm thinking that I probably want to load the side-by-side. I'm thinking on the, probably not on the back. Well, actually, maybe on the back because I don't want all the weight to be over the front of the trailer. So it's kind of there's advantages and disadvantages to doing it either way. But we'll see what happens when we put this RZR together. So let's see. We're gonna do the stock engine, but with a speedy gearbox and standard suspension. And we'll probably go with a... Ooh, these are interesting tires. I think we'll probably go with a more realistic set of these 31s. And the toe strap is good to go. We will definitely have the windshield on there. We'll have the light bar up top. And then colors-wise, this is going to be like bright red. I mean, bright red. Track is going to be muddy for sure when we get down there with all this rain. I don't know. We'll see how the weather does. We'll see how it clears up. All right, so let's change over into our four-wheeler. We'll go ahead and get you up on the trailer. Definitely going to be a little bit of an interesting one. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, though. Like, once it's up on the trailer, it's no worries. There you go. Oh, yeah, that's super easy. All right, so he's all the way at the front of the trailer. Now we're going to grab the RZR, and I'm going to back this one on. That way, it will be super easy to unload. Let's back you up on there. Whoa, easy. All right, come on. Not bad. Not bad. I want to try to get it a little bit closer. That's a little closer than I originally intended, but you know what? It's fine. It's all good. Don't worry about it. All right, so we're grabbing the... Although, by the way, that's a sick photo, dude. That's an awesome photo. I love that. That's actually, like, that's freaking legit. I am all about that photo right there. That looks great. All right, let's go ahead and swap over into the Super Duty. Fire this thing up, and we will get the tilt deck trailer down. Get everything on there packed up. Now it should be good to go, and we should be good to head out. Now, as far as where we're going, I've got a pretty good idea of where this spot is, although I'm debating whether or not we should take the highway to get there. So let's look at the GPS real quick. Now, the highway is going to run down here, and then we'll have a little bit of a dirt road to follow, and then we'll find it right about in this area. I need to go ahead and run my radar unit, but it'll be fine. Or we could take a right, and then we could stay along this road here, but I'm not entirely sure. I think it'd be a little bit better if we stayed along the country road rather than taking the highway. So let's do that. Easy. It's definitely not that four-wheeler that's heavy. That is for sure. The four-wheeler's not bad. The side-by-side on the other hand, man, that thing's got some weight to it. Although I'm really glad that it's not all the way out behind the back end of the trailer. Because if it was out behind the back end of the trailer, it would be, I mean, properly sketch. Let's see how this is going from here. I mean, you could see it in the mirrors, but... man, with all that, window tint, it's a little tricky to see sometimes. I might have to, I don't know, we might have to throw this thing in the shop and, like, change to a different level of window tint at some point. Alright, easing it down the hill. Whoa! You can feel the weight behind it for sure. I mean, you really, really can feel the weight. There we go. I gotta get a little bit of momentum before I get on up the hill. I mean, power is not a concern in this truck whatsoever. I just like to get a little bit of momentum before I go up these hills because it's a little bit nicer to the transmission. Now, let's see. Oh, actually, I'm pretty sure that if I make a left here, it'd be an easier way. Yeah, it'd be an easier way to get to this property that we're heading to. Let's bring you along through here. Not bad. Now, once you start to get off the pavement and onto the dirt roads, that's where this truck really starts to shine. Because, I mean, yes, it does have that show truck look, but, I mean, with these tires and also with the way the suspension is tuned, I mean, as you can see, it's soaking up every single bump super well, all while having weight behind it on the trailer as well. I mean, it really is such a well-put-together truck and a well-tuned suspension, although you got to be careful going downhill in this thing, man. I mean, with the weight behind it, it will start to push you. Although you can use the handbrake to also hit the trailer brakes, and that'll definitely help you out of a situation from time to time. Let's make a quick right here. All right, so let's see. The main four-wheeler is, let's see, the yellow four-wheeler is gonna get dropped off, I believe, up there, which here's the thing. We are going to have to reload the red side-by-side, but that's no big deal. That's no big deal at all. I mean, I'm not worried about doing that whatsoever. This is quite the driveway this guy's got himself here. Quite the driveway indeed. Bro, that's also a sick-looking photo. I don't know what it is about me, like, finding all of these, like, really cool photo spots, but every time I see one, I'm like, man, that's a, like, that's one of those, I don't know if it even, I don't even want to call them, like an Instagram spot, because it's really just, like, spots that I find where I'm like, oh, that would look awesome. But let's see. Oh, it's sick. He's got, like, a house up here, bunch of parking. Yeah, massive amount of parking. All right, so let's go ahead and activate the tilt deck. And we'll get everything unpacked. Stop the engine, and we'll move the RZR off first. And then let's go and spin you around. All right, shut it down right there. And now we'll grab the four-wheeler, back you down off the trailer. I'll go ahead and put you right over by the house. That way it'll be super easy for him to go ahead and take this thing out for a rip whenever he wants to. All right, you are going to chill right there. And then now, we're going to get back into the RZR and throw this thing back up onto the trailer and then make a quick stop by that, that little ATV track on the way back. I mean, they did say we could, so I'm not going to turn that down. I mean, would you turn that down? I don't think so. I really don't. All right, ramp's coming down. Trucks are all packed up and ready. It always looks so cool when you pack it up while the truck is actually still, still on the tilt deck and it's still tilting. Like, the fact that it could do that stuff, like, at the same time is absolutely wild. Maybe I ought to bring the suspension down. Maybe not, actually. Now that I see that, I mean, it's probably just got something to do with, like, the way the weight is positioned, because now all it's doing is pushing the rear suspension sky high, so that probably means I've kind of loaded it incorrectly. But you know what? It's no big deal. Oh, it almost was a big deal. Yeah, it almost was a really big deal, so let's really try to not have that happen again. Like, genuinely really try to not have that happen again. The way this truck is sitting right now definitely makes me feel like I should have put the weight a lot further forward. And you know what? I'll definitely be paying attention to that in the future, for sure. Now, this track is a little bit, like, a little bit weird to get to. There isn't really a direct path to it. But let's go ahead and activate that radar unit real quick. All right, so let's see. Activate radar. Let's go. Radar unit pops up, pops back down. And now, we should have access to... Yeah, there's the ATV racetrack. Now, there is kind of a rock course that you need to take in order to get down to it from there. But there's also a break in the trees right here that you can really, you know, you could use to access it with no issue at all. Let's bring you down the road just a bit. There's that break in the trees. All right, it should be real easy to get this thing unloaded. I just don't want to be on the main road. Yeah, there's that break in the trees. It's gonna be a little dark out when we go to do this quick lap, but you know what? I'm just unpacking it, stopping the engine. I'm not even gonna tilt the trailer. I'm just gonna back this thing right off the trailer and head right down onto the racetrack. Why is my light bar not working? Like, it's lit up, but it's not giving me any light. That's kind of weird. All right, let's see what we can make out of a lap down here. This track is always, like, it's such a fun spot because not a lot of people know that this track is here. Even if they've been playing highway hauling for a super long time, very few people actually know that this ATV racetrack is here. And it was definitely designed in such a way that it has kind of a hidden feel. It has the feel of a track that maybe used to be used, but isn't really used all that much anymore. And again, the fact that it's here really makes it feel like a really cool spot, like once you do find it. And if you play highway hauling like with your friends in multiplayer, bro, you guys should absolutely come out here and race. But that, oh bro, I missed this track. It's been so long since I've been out here. I've missed this freaking track. This place is so cool. Like, I'm so glad that more and more map creators are starting to add these little, like, ATV parks and ATV tracks around their maps, I think it's, like, definitely an added bonus dynamic, you know, especially for a map like this one. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video and enjoyed that RP, and if you did, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.